Captain Marvel fell from the sky, but Superman never looked back. The Avengers think it was an accident. They're wrong. Because only one man knows the truth, and he's been hiding it behind his cape. Her name was Renara, a dying alien girl. Her powers could save the galaxy or destroy it. Superman made a choice. One hero died to protect a stranger. And now the lie is unraveling. The alien girl who shouldn't exist. The night sky was quiet, but Superman heard a scream no one else could. It wasn't sound. It was frequency, a distress pulse buried between solar waves. Something ancient, something coded, and something desperate. From orbit, it pinged his senses like a whisper wrapped in fire. "Kal-El, help me." Within seconds, he cut off communications with the Justice League. Not even Batman knew he was leaving. No calls, no traces, just a blue streak through space, vanishing beyond Mars in a blink. Deep in the Red Star Nebula, hidden behind collapsing meteors and radiation storms, he found it, a circular energy capsule half buried in drifting debris. Inside, curled up like a dying ember, was a girl. Not human, not Kryptonian, something else entirely. Her skin shimmered like moonlight on Mercury. Her veins glowed with blue energy that pulsed slowly, too slowly. Her eyes fluttered, then opened, and spoke directly into his mind. "Renara, last of the Singari. If I die, your world ends next." Superman was silent, floating in zero gravity, unsure if she was telepathic or hallucinating. But her thoughts were clear, and they didn't feel like lies. She didn't plead. She didn't beg. She warned. "Your Earth's frequency is rising. You're the next ignition point. I was sent to stabilize it, but I was hunted, trapped, left to decay." "Who hunted you?" Superman asked, still telepathic. Her name was Carol. Superman's heart paused for a moment. Carol Danvers? Captain Marvel? Renara closed her eyes, weakened. Her body flickered like static. "Then, if I die, the Singari legacy ends, and the entropy wave will consume Earth in less than 14 moons." Superman clenched his fists. "That wave, it's real?" She nodded. "It's not an attack. It's a natural collapse of dimensional balance. The only way to delay it is me." Superman scanned her vitals. Her DNA was unstable in Earth-like atmospheres. She couldn't survive there without a sealed environment. No hospitals. No space stations. Only one place could hold her safely, his fortress of solitude. He carried her across galaxies in silence. But as he entered Earth's orbit, one thing gnawed at him. If she was telling the truth, why would Captain Marvel attack her? He didn't ask her yet. He didn't want to believe what that implied. But that's when the energy spike hit. In a shield observatory in the Arctic Circle, a silent alarm flashed red. Interdimensional radiation detected, level Omega. The source? Somewhere near the North Pole. Back at Avengers HQ, Carol Danvers was already in the air. She moved fast, faster than any of them. Within an hour, she was tearing through the upper layers of the atmosphere, eyes burning with cosmic suspicion. Thor contacted her. "Carol, what's going on?" "There's a Class 7 fluctuation coming from Superman's fortress." "He's hiding something," she growled. "Kal-El wouldn't betray us," Thor said calm. She replied, "Not unless he thinks it's for the greater good. And that's what scares me." Inside the fortress, Renara hovered inside a crystalline containment pod Superman had created. It replicated her home frequency. She began to heal. Her voice was stronger. Her form stabilized. "You saved me," she whispered. "I don't know yet," Superman said. "You said Carol attacked you. Why?" "She thought I was the threat," Renara answered calmly. "She didn't understand what I carried inside." "And what do you carry?" She raised her hand. A holographic projection filled the air, a cosmic blueprint of interconnected stars, energy flows, and what looked like a decaying timeline. Earth was at the center, pulsing. The Singari are not soldiers. We're anchors. I carry the last harmonic frequency needed to prevent the total collapse of this quadrant. Without me, time bends. Worlds fall into entropy. Superheroes begin to turn against each other. Your species' very instincts will malfunction. Superman didn't understand all of it, but he felt it. A deep shift in reality, like dominoes already falling. Still, something felt hidden. And that's when the alarm screamed. A massive impact tremor rocked the fortress walls. Ice cracked. Energy surged. Captain Marvel had arrived. "Cal, step aside," she shouted, bursting through the corridor, fists glowing with cosmic fire. Superman stepped in front of Renara's pod. "Stop. Listen to me. No. That girl is dangerous. She was locked up for a reason. I tracked her across galaxies. She's not what you think. She's the last of her kind. She's a stabilizer. She's a manipulator." Carol roared, launching a photon blast toward the pod. Superman blocked it mid-air, absorbing the hit. The shockwave cracked a dozen crystals. Renara screamed from within the chamber. "You're killing the balance. Stop." Carol's eyes widened. "She's already inside your head." "She's not." Superman didn't finish. Carol lunged. The fight was fast, brutal, silent in the void of the fortress chambers. Every punch from Carol shook the ice walls. Every counter from Superman shook the sky. He didn't want to hurt her. She didn't want to stop. But in the chaos, a shard of unstable energy, released from Renara's pod, struck Carol's core. Time slowed. Carol stumbled back, chest heaving, mouth trembling. She looked at Superman and saw it. "You knew." Then she collapsed. Her cosmic light flickered, then died. Superman froze. His cape fluttered silently in the chamber's icy draft. Renara whispered, "It wasn't meant to happen like this." Superman knelt beside Carol's lifeless body. "I didn't want this." "But you let it happen," she said gently. He looked at his hands. The hands that could lift planets, that could bend steel, that could have stopped this. But he hadn't. He made a choice. To believe in a stranger. To trust a warning. And now, Captain Marvel was gone. Superman buried her in deep orbit, just past Jupiter's rings, a floating tomb of cosmic light. He told no one. He returned to Earth like nothing had happened. But the silence wouldn't last. Spider-Man was already tracking unusual radiation signatures in deep space. And buried within them was the echo of Carol's last breath. The secret that burned the team. The sun was rising over Metropolis, but Superman hadn't slept in days. Not because he couldn't, but because her voice still echoed in his mind. Renara. The alien girl who shouldn't exist. The reason Captain Marvel was dead. She floated inside the containment shell within the Fortress of Solitude, quiet, glowing faintly, watching him with strange compassion. Her silver eyes shimmered like mercury rivers. She didn't blink, didn't breathe, just watched. "You haven't told them," she finally said. Superman's jaw tightened. "They don't need to know. They will." "They can't." Her expression softened. "Lies burn brighter than truth, Kal-El. They always find light." Superman turned away. "If I tell them, they'll destroy you before they understand you. And if you don't," she whispered, "they'll destroy you." Outside, the Arctic wind howled through the fractured ice from the battle with Captain Marvel. Superman had sealed the damage, but the scars were still there, long cracks of frozen lightning marking the floor, a silent reminder of guilt. He thought he could bury it. He thought he could protect Earth quietly. But truth doesn't stay buried when it's wrapped in cosmic radiation. And that's how Spider-Man found it. It started as a trace anomaly. Peter Parker, scanning orbital debris for Stark Industries satellite maintenance, detected an object emitting hybrid cosmic and Kryptonian frequencies. At first, he thought it was a failed experiment or wreckage from their previous battles. But when his scanner showed faint biological readings and a familiar photon signature, his heart stopped. He launched a mini probe to capture a visual. The image came back blurry, but there was no mistaking it. The red and gold suit, the faint cosmic glow, Captain Marvel's body drifting lifeless near the moon. Peter's mask lenses widened. No way. He immediately patched into StarkNet. "Iron Man, I've got something. You're going to want to see this." Hours later, the Avengers gathered inside the Stark Tower command room. The hologram floated in the air like a ghost. Carol Danvers, motionless, frozen in the void. Iron Man's voice cracked slightly through the modulator. Where did you find this? Spider-Man hesitated. Just beyond lunar orbit. But that's not all. He pointed at the data feed. These energy traces, they're Kryptonian. The room went silent. Thor crossed his arms. Impossible. Superman would never harm Carol. Dr. Strange's tone was calm but grim. Then how do we explain this? He flicked his hand. Magic symbols filled the air, forming a playback reconstruction of Carol's last memory imprint. A split-second fragment captured in her aura before death. The room darkened. The air thickened. And then it played. Carol, mid-fight, energy flaring. Superman in front of her, shouting something. A blinding pulse. Then static. Her last recorded words echoed softly. You knew. Thor's hammer shook. Iron Man's fist clenched so tight his gauntlet cracked. Spider-Man looked between them, whispering, Guys, we need to talk to him. The Fortress of Solitude was quiet when the team arrived. But the tension wasn't. Superman stood waiting, cape gently swaying in the icy wind, eyes red with exhaustion. Not anger, not fear, but something deeper. Iron Man stepped forward first. Tell me this isn't what it looks like. Superman stayed silent. Thor slammed Mjolnir into the ice. Speak, Kryptonian. I didn't kill her, Superman said finally. His voice was low, trembling under the weight of a truth no one wanted. It was an accident. She attacked first. She didn't understand what she was doing. Iron Man shot back, then explained this. He projected Carol's energy logs, showing her death energy spike, and Renara's containment pod glowing in the background. Spider-Man's voice cracked. Who is that girl, Superman? Superman turned toward the crystalline chamber behind him. Renara floated peacefully, eyes closed, wrapped in soft blue light. She's the reason Earth still exists, he said quietly. Dr. Strange raised an eyebrow. And the reason Carol doesn't. Superman took a step forward. You don't understand. This girl, Renara, she's connected to the cosmic frequency holding this universe together. Without her, the entropy wave would have collapsed our dimension in weeks. Iron Man scoffed. You expect us to believe that? You think we didn't check energy patterns? Since Carol's death, global anomalies have increased. Whatever she is, she's destabilizing everything. Superman's eyes glowed red for a second. That's because she's dying again. Every time her energy spikes, she burns herself to keep your world stable. She's not the villain. Thor's voice rumbled like thunder. Then what are you, Kal-El? Savior or executioner? Superman's voice broke for the first time. I made a choice. She was going to die. I chose the one life that could save billions. Iron Man's helmet hissed as it opened, revealing Tony's face twisted with anger and disbelief. And Carol's life didn't count as one. Superman stared at him. You think I didn't try? You think I didn't hold her as she died? She thought she was saving the universe. And she was, just not in the way she imagined. Renara's pod suddenly pulsed with light, shaking the floor. Her voice filled their minds. He speaks truth. Carol's energy triggered the harmonic shift too soon. I cannot stop it alone. Dr. Strange's cape swayed. Telepathic projection. She's merging frequencies. Iron Man drew back, defensive. Yeah, and rewriting our minds while she's at it. Renara's holographic form appeared between them, serene but eerie. You fight over guilt while your world fractures beneath you. You have 4 rotations before collapse. Choose unity or perish divided. She vanished. For a moment, only the hum of the fortress remained. Spider-Man whispered, for rotations that's like 4 days. Iron Man turned to Superman. Then you'd better start talking, Boy Scout. Because if you're lying, I'm shutting that pod down myself. Superman's eyes flared again. If you touch her, Tony. Iron Man stepped closer. You'll what? Kill me too. The silence cut sharper than any weapon. Thor stepped in between them. Enough. This anger will doom us faster than any alien threat. We must find truth, not vengeance. Dr. Strange nodded. Agreed. But truth must begin with honesty. Superman, if she's your responsibility, you won't handle it alone anymore. The Avengers stand beside you for now." Superman looked at each of them. They didn't trust him. Not really. But for now, they were united by fear and the ticking clock of extinction. He nodded. "Then let's fix this." But deep within the containment pod, Renara's eyes snapped open. Her veins burned with silver fire. Her lips curled into something that wasn't quite human. "They'll never understand," she whispered. "They never do." She pressed her palm against the glass, and it rippled like water. A faint smile, a pulse of light, and somewhere in the distance, satellites began to flicker. Radio frequency shifted. A hidden signal was born, and it carried her voice across the stars. Phase 1 complete. Superman turned toward the pod, sensing the change. His heartbeat quickened. Something wasn't right. But before he could move, alarms exploded through the fortress. Renara's containment field was no longer stable. Her energy readings were off the charts. Dr. Strange shouted, "She's breaking containment." Iron Man raised his hand, charging repulsors. "I told you she was lying." But Superman stepped between them again, his voice breaking. "No, she's scared." Thor's hammer spun. "Then what, Kryptonian? Will you choose her again over us?" Superman's eyes glowed red. "If she dies, we all die." The ground split beneath them as a shockwave of alien energy blasted outward, shaking the sky. Earth trembled. Satellites shattered. And above the storm clouds, a faint, echoing voice whispered through every frequency on Earth. "Renara lives, and the new order begins." Spider-Man breaks the signal. The world was shaking, not from war, not from missiles, but from whispers no one understood. Phones rang without calls. Radios crackled with static chants. Babies cried at the same moment across time zones. Tech stopped responding. Earth's satellites were glitching. And in the heart of it, one word repeated in corrupted pulses. Renara. The Avengers were scattered, confused. The world was calling it a cyber attack. But deep inside Stark Tower's underground lab, Spider-Man already knew this wasn't from Earth. This was her. The girl Superman had risked everything to protect. Was broadcasting something else now. Peter Parker hadn't slept. His face was pale behind the mask. Lines of code scrolled on 6 screens around him. Stark's private AI kept failing to decrypt the source. Everything pointed back to Superman's fortress. But the origin of the signal wasn't Earth anymore. It was bouncing off of Renara's DNA frequency, across satellites, into people, into machines, into thought. "She's not just a stabilizer," Peter muttered. "She's a transmitter." And if he was right, she wasn't stabilizing Earth. She was rewriting it. Meanwhile, the Avengers were splitting. Iron Man called an emergency session with all global heroes. Captain America arrived late, grim and silent. Thor stayed quiet, but clutched Mjolnir tighter than usual. Superman wasn't invited. Strange floated midair, arms crossed. "We have 2 choices. Shut her down or let her finish whatever she's doing. But by then, the world may no longer be ours." Black Panther frowned. "We don't even know what she's changing." "Free will," Strange replied. "Emotions, memory, belief." "How do you know?" asked Sam Wilson. Strange lowered his eyes. "Because I forgot my sister's name this morning. For 2 hours. I didn't even know I had one." Silence fell. Spider-Man broke through the meeting like a lightning bolt. "No time. Guys, Renara isn't stabilizing anything anymore. She's linked into every human neurosignal on Earth. Her frequency is syncing to thought waves." Iron Man turned sharply. "You mean she's programming us?" Peter nodded. "Not words. Not commands. But something worse, emotional rewriting. What you feel may no longer be yours." Captain America narrowed his eyes. And Superman knew. "I don't think he knows the extent anymore," Peter said. "But we have to act fast. If her reach goes planetary, we may never be able to reverse it." Far above Earth, in the Fortress of Solitude, Superman stood in front of the pod. Renara floated peacefully, glowing like a star born in a bottle. But her heartbeats echoed in frequencies Superman could now hear, musical, alien, and dangerously beautiful. I can feel what you feel, she whispered. He didn't answer. I can help them feel peace, Kal-El. Peace without anger, without confusion. Isn't that what you always wanted? You promised to help, he said. Not control. Her voice rang like a lullaby. Control is just guidance at a higher frequency. No, Superman said firmly. It's slavery wrapped in silk. Her eyes opened, no longer soft. Then why did you let Carol die for me? Superman's breath caught. You already chose, Kal. You just didn't admit it to yourself. At Avengers HQ, a plan was forming. Dr. Strange could construct a dimensional dampener, a device that, once activated, would cancel all alien origin frequencies tied to human biology. It would shut down Renara's entire signal network. But there was a problem. It needed a live anchor, someone strong enough to sync with Renara's pulse and absorb the backlash without dying instantly. Thor stepped forward. Let it be me. But Strange shook his head. She's tuned to Kryptonian resonance now. Only someone exposed to Superman's aura can survive long enough. Iron Man turned. Then who do we send? Everyone looked at Peter. He blinked. Oh, come on, you've got to be kidding me. An hour later, Spider-Man stood in an exosuit layered with protective dampening tech, modified by Stark and Strange. His hands trembled. Not from fear, but from knowing what failure meant. No pressure, Stark said through the comms. You're just about to psychically unplug the most powerful cosmic transmitter the world's ever seen. Strange added, if you die, try to do it quietly. We don't want her to notice too soon. Peter rolled his eyes. Great pep talk. Where's the applause? Then, with a blinding burst of light, he was teleported. Inside the fortress, alarms rang. Superman turned as Peter appeared mid-air, floating, glowing with golden runes. What are you doing here? Superman yelled. Peter raised his hand, stopping her. With or without you. She's not the enemy. She is now. From behind, Renara's pod cracked open. Light burst from her like the dawn of a new sun. Hair floating, eyes blazing, voice layered in harmonics that bent the air. You shouldn't have come, Spider. Peter gritted his teeth. I hate cosmic girls with god complexes. Renara raised her hand. Peter activated the dampener core. The shock wave blasted through the fortress. Every crystal shattered. Ice turned to steam. Superman was thrown into a wall. Peter's body burned with white-hot energy, but the suit held. Renara screamed, not in pain, but in rage. You would chain evolution? I bring harmony. You're stealing choice. Peter shouted, pushing the dial. Choice is chaos, she hissed. Superman got up slowly. He looked at Peter. Then Renara. Then back. And he made the hardest decision of his life. He flew behind Peter and pushed the power core to full. Renara screamed. A blinding wave of light consumed everything. When the light faded, the pod was gone. The fortress was ruins. Superman was unconscious. And Peter was alive. Barely. Iron Man arrived seconds later through a portal. Kid, you did it. Peter coughed. Yeah. Now someone get me a milkshake before I pass out. Dr. Strange placed a containment field around the wreckage. She's gone. Scattered across dimensions. But we stopped the signal. Iron Man looked at Superman, still breathing, but broken. I just hope it was worth it. Back on Earth, the skies calmed. The static vanished. Radios returned to normal. People forgot the strange headaches, the confusion, the sudden emotions that weren't theirs. But deep inside a hidden satellite, a single blue pulse blinked. A whisper, a trace, a memory that refused to die. Renara was gone, but not extinct. The world thought it was over. News anchors called it the cosmic reset. Scientists labeled it solar interference. But those who knew, the heroes, the gods, the ones who stood at the edge, understood one thing. The signal may be gone, but the damage was not. And at the center of it all was Superman. In a hidden underground chamber beneath Wakanda, a hero council assembled. Not for a celebration, not for a funeral, but for a verdict. Around the circular hall sat Earth's protectors. Iron Man, unmasked and unreadable. Thor, silent and thunderous. Doctor Strange, floating, eyes glowing with suspicion. Black Panther, arms crossed, judging. Captain America, not speaking, just watching. And Spider-Man, sitting at the edge, battered but alive. The chair at the center? Empty. Until now. Superman walked in. No cape. No shield. No defenses. Just guilt. Iron Man stood first. You hid her. Lied about her. Let Carol die. And nearly let the world lose its mind. For an alien no one knew. Superman didn't flinch. I made a call. The hardest one of my life. Doctor Strange added coldly. You didn't make a call. You buried the truth. There's a difference. Spider-Man broke in, voice tired. He didn't know how far she'd go. Black Panther. But he knew something. Superman nodded. I knew she was dangerous. I knew she was powerful. But I believed she could change. Captain America finally spoke. Quiet. Unforgiving. Carol believed that too. That's why she fought for Earth her whole life. And I watched her die, Superman whispered. I failed her. The room fell silent. Thor leaned forward, voice like distant thunder. What was she to you, Kal-El? This alien girl. Why did you choose her? Superman looked up, eyes sharp. She wasn't just a girl. She was a warning. She represented everything we fear and everything we hope for. Power, peace, pain, possibility. Doctor Strange scowled. And so you gambled with the planet? No, Superman said. I gambled with myself. I thought if I could protect her, guide her, maybe I could stop being the weapon I've always feared I am. Iron Man's voice cracked slightly. You were the weapon this time. Spider-Man stood. He stopped her in the end. Strange replied, not soon enough. Superman stepped closer to the center. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for truth. You want a villain? Call me one. But don't pretend you've never made a bad call for the right reasons. Captain America's fist clenched. We didn't hide bodies. Superman met his stare. No. But you've all buried something. Regrets. Failures. Names. The room froze. And that's when Black Panther spoke. In Wakanda, we do not judge a warrior by their mistake, but by how they stand after it. Thor nodded slowly. He stood between us and the collapse. That must count for something. Doctor Strange still looked unsure. Iron Man just turned away. Captain America finally said, You're not off the hook. But we won't destroy you. Superman nodded. Black Panther added, But you will step down. No leadership. No secrets. And, if anything alien whispers again, you report it first. Superman replied quietly, agreed. Spider-Man walked beside him as he exited. You did what you thought was right. Superman smiled weakly. So did she. Above Earth, a silent satellite blinked once. In the darkness, a single strand of light curled inside a glass orb, the last fragment of Renara's signal. Alive. Waiting. Phase 2 hadn't begun, but it hadn't ended either. The last choice. 3 days later, Earth was quiet. No storms. No anomalies. No whispers in the sky. But peace never felt this unnatural. Superman stood alone above the Arctic again, where it all began. Where Carol died. Where Renara was released. And where the signal was supposed to end. But he felt it. A heartbeat. Not his. Not Earth's. Hers. The wind shifted. A soft glow lit the snow. And from thin air, a figure emerged. Not Renara as he remembered her, but something new. Pale. Flickering. Ethereal. A projection of her or what was left. I knew you'd come, she said softly. Superman didn't flinch. You survived. Barely, Renara replied. I'm not whole. Just a memory. A fragment scattered in light. But even now, I can still feel your world. What do you want? Her voice echoed in the frost. You already know. Below, in Wakanda, satellites started to blink again. In New York, children suddenly paused mid-play, looking to the sky. And, in Kamartaj, Strange felt the tremor first. She's still connected, he whispered. Somewhere out there. Superman stared into Renara's eyes. Why come back? Because you still haven't chosen. I did choose, he growled. I ended your transmission. You ended the signal, she whispered. Not the belief. I'm still in the minds of billions, not as a controller, but as a question. Superman stepped forward. Then let go. Let the world move on. She smiled. They can't. Because neither can you. Suddenly, the snow vanished around them. They stood in Carol's final moment, a memory reformed. Carol frozen mid-strike. Superman hand out. The energy pulsed between them, crackling forever. Why show me this, he asked. Because you never forgave yourself, Renara said. And he didn't argue. Then she offered it. A final choice. I can finish what I started. No control, no dominance. Just peace. I'll erase fear from this planet. No rage. No guilt. Not even yours. Everyone will sleep in harmony. Even you. Superman stared. The offer was warm, tempting. A world without grief, without betrayal, without regret, but also without freedom, without truth. No, he whispered. We need pain. We need mistakes. That's how we grow. She frowned. Then they'll suffer. You'll suffer. Forever. I know. And he lifted his hand. A golden crystal formed in his palm, the last piece of her energy core. She looked at it. You're going to destroy me? He nodded. Not out of anger. Out of mercy. Her image began to fade. Then I forgive you for choosing Earth. He whispered back, and I forgive you for being human. He crushed the crystal. A pulse of golden light exploded across the planet. Not violent, not loud, but soft. Like a breath being released after holding it for too long. The clouds shifted. Time settled. The signal ended. For real. Across the globe, people felt it. The tension that had gripped their hearts, the strange emotions, the unreal clarity, all vanished. And for the first time in weeks, the world felt normal. Spider-Man looked up from a rooftop and smiled. He did it. Dr. Strange closed the book of his shanty and whispered, He chose us. Iron Man watched the satellite grid return to full stability. Goodbye, alien girl. Back in the Arctic, Superman dropped to one knee. He felt cold, tired, alone, but also whole. Above him, the stars twinkled, distant and unbothered. Carol Danvers' voice echoed in his memory. We protect what we love, even from ourselves. He stood, eyes to the sky, and he flew, not as a god, not as a symbol, but as a man who made a mistake and found his way back. End of story.